Now, after the resounding success of my canyoning video the other week, as seen here, Edward Patrick dropped by to ask me an important question.
Now why would anyone bother going outdoors? You're literally choosing to spend time cold, hungry and uncomfortable when you could be comfy in bed at home.
Well, Edward, to answer that question, here's 5 reasons to head bush this weekend. As always, this video depicts adventure activities undertaken by those suitably trained and experienced. One should not attempt any of the actions depicted in this video without the appropriate training or supervision. Now that the disclaimer is out of the way, let's get into reason number 1. To see the world. For today's adventure, Brad and I picked a destination not even 2 hours away from where I live. Despite this, I'd never been to or even heard of this town until conducting research into rock climbing locations on the internet. Now, as we made our way out to this climbing crag, we got to drive along some amazingly scenic roads alongside beautiful rural properties that are so classically Australian. The more we see the world, the more we realise that our home is so much more than the town, city, state and even country that we've grown up in. By travelling, we realise that our home is the world, this planet, and we become more conscious of how we can harmoniously live and support one another. What's the weather say, Brad?
Rain starting in 3 minutes.
Nah, mate, we'll be right. Reason number 2. Mateship. Catching up with friends is super important, but what's more important is actually choosing to spend quality time with them. We've all got that mate who's keen to organise a catch-up. When you finally get together, he sits silently in the corner doing this. Spending your time in the bush with mates is great, as you'll have few distractions out there and you can really focus on listening to what each other has to say. You'll also get to form a bond that's unlike most formed in society. See, when Brad and I descended a canyon in the rugged Kananga region last year, kind of terrain shown here, we spent the next 4 hours ascending nearly 500 metres in the most unnavigable terrain that I've ever come across. You form a mateship based on shared suffering and unbelievable adventures. When the abseils get long and the climbs get exposed, your mates are there for you to help push you through your physical and mental limits. And when they're in the same position, you help them out too. The 3rd reason, health benefits. Now, even if the first 2 reasons weren't enough to convince you to get outside, this one surely will. Getting outside has numerous health benefits backed by science. I mean, the simple act of spending time outside, as little as 2 hours a week, have been shown by studies to have many positive psychological effects. These effects included increased liveliness and decreased levels of stress, hostility, and depression. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I can't say that halfway up this climb I was feeling a decreased level of stress or anxiety, but the point still stands. In fact, exposure to the outdoors actually decreases a person's levels of the stress hormone cortisol, leaving you to feel less stressed and more rested. I disagree, but okay. It doesn't just affect how you feel. A study in Japan found that individuals showed significant increases in an infection-fighting cell in the week after a forest visit. Now, these positive effects lasted a month following each visit to the woods. Number 4. Discovering new experiences. Now, Brad and I have been climbing for a bit. However, practically all of our climbing exposure has been to the beautiful sandstone of the Blue Mountains. I found attempting to climb these granite boulders very difficult, requiring a combination of elite calf strength and balance, neither of which I am known for. Despite this, We got to try something new and push ourselves in a way that we previously hadn't been exposed to. It certainly was an eye-opener, as someone who would love to go to the Americas and climb around Yosemite. It showed me that I need a hell of a lot more climbing experience, with a particular focus on slab climbing. So as you can see, getting outside is a way to try new things. Now if descending narrow canyons or climbing rock walls isn't your thing, there's plenty of less intensive outdoor activities, such as hiking, birdwatching, and landscape photography that you can get into. And finally, reason number 5, to reconnect with yourself. Sometimes we all need a little alone time to recharge. Being outside gives you a chance to unplug and spend some quiet time with your own thoughts. Sitting around the fire and discussing life and our plans for the future was incredibly restorative. When on the crux of a difficult climb or midway through an abseil in a canyon, the last thing on my mind is work or my daily responsibilities. I'm focused on being in that moment,
I just gotta go
enjoying that experience and embracing everything about it. By being in nature and focusing on our 5 senses, what we can see, touch, hear, smell and taste, we can connect with our environment in a deeper way. This in turn leads to a deeper connection with ourselves. There's something primal about sitting around a campfire in the great outdoors. I find that it scratches an itch that I didn't even know I had. The crackling sounds, the aroma of burning wood, and the dance of the flames create a calming atmosphere that melts away stress and anxiety. The act of gazing into the fire can be incredibly soothing, promoting a sense of peace and reflection. In fact, several studies have shown a measurable drop in blood pressure for those sitting around a campfire. Now, I've also found that the campfire has alerted me to a newfound superpower. I have the ability to change the direction of smoke around the fire. Now, it's not a super cool ability in that I can shoot flames or direct the smoke at people or anything like that. It's more so the fact that wherever I seem to move, the smoke seems to follow. And that's it from me, guys. Those are my 5 reasons to head out bush this weekend. Thanks for watching.